Okay, hello to everyone that's joined so far. We're going to give it a few minutes for more attendees to join us, and then we'll get started. Okay, guys, I think we should get cracking now. It's 3 minutes past. So firstly, thank you everyone to have joined our webinar session. Just to kick things off with a few housekeeping rules, if you could all keep yourselves on mute to avoid any distractions, that would be much appreciated. If you do have any questions throughout the presentation, just drop those into the chat box and I will whiz through those at the end. So to kick things off, if we could start rolling the PPT, and we will introduce Anissa. One of my marketing guys, whoever's, oh, there we go, it's on to me first. So I am Josie Booth, I'm the Head of Business Development here at InUni Global. And I have a lot of my representatives and on-the-ground reps who you guys probably work with directly on the call today. So thank you very much for joining us. Skipping to the next slide, we have Anissa Neill. Anissa is the Director of International Admissions and Operations. I've been with Herzing University since 2007. And oversees everything to do with international admissions and international partnerships. So we're really, really delighted to have Anissa on board for the call today, and she will be presenting at Herzing University. Now, before I whiz on, I'd like to also introduce two existing students. So we have Kushi. Kushi is here. She is from Gujarat in India. She is a Bachelor's of Science in IT student, expected to graduate in spring 2024. And when she graduates, she's planning to continue her education onto the master's program. So we will be chatting with Kushi and also her peer Naeem. Naeem is also from Gujarat. He graduated from Herzing's MBA program in project management. He's actually currently working in the US with a construction company named Civil Works as Chief Operating Officer. So really delighted to have both you on the call. Thank you for joining us, and we really look forward to asking you some questions later. But first of all, over to yourself, Anissa, and look forward to hearing your information.
Yeah, thank you, Josie, and thank you everybody for joining us today on the webinar. I know we have lots of attendees out there interested in learning more about Herzing University, and we hope that this webinar is a really great way for you to do that. So please, as Josie mentioned, feel free to drop some questions in the chat. We'll get to those as we get to the end of the webinar after we hear from Naeem and Kushi, and we'll answer as many of those as we can. And for the ones that we can't, we'll definitely try to get back to you. Sometimes these webinars really produce a lot of questions, and we want to answer as many of them as possible. So a little about Herzing University. As Josie mentioned, I've been with Herzing University for about 15 years, and I'm really proud to say that all of the things I'm going to tell you about Herzing University today, I have been able to witness firsthand as a part of Herzing University's mission and core values that we'll get into in just a bit. And some of the history, Herzing University was founded in 1965 by Henry and Suzanne Herzing. Today, Henry and Suzanne Herzing, they don't actively operate and run Herzing University, as we are now a private nonprofit institution, but the president of Herzing University is their daughter, Renee Herzing, and she still plays a very active role in the university itself. Herzing University has now grown to, see this slide here says 10 campuses, but just last week, actually, we added our 11th campus in Nashville, Tennessee. And so we have lots of options out there for students, with most of our international students attending our campus located in Atlanta, Georgia. Herzing University is accredited by the Higher Learning Commission, and that's a regional accreditation. And as I mentioned, we're a private nonprofit student, and we have more than 40,000 graduates to date. Also, we're very happy and proud to report that we have been on the U.S. News and World Report rankings for the last 10 consecutive years. And then lastly, Herzing University is a student exchange visitor program certified school, which means that we are eligible to write I-20 and enroll F1 visa holder students in the United States. As I mentioned, we're all really proud of our mission here at Herzing University, and the mission of the university is to educate, support, and empower all students for success in work, learning, and engagement in our communities and global societies. And so what that means is that Herzing University strives to make sure that we teach the things that are going to be impactful for students as they move on into the work environment, and things that they will be able to use every day, things that are going to be really important to make them successful in the industries that they have selected. And moving on now to the core values of Herzing University. And the way that I describe our core values is they're what differentiates Herzing from other universities. So Herzing University did a survey a few years ago out to a lot of our partners and employers of our graduates and asked them what we could do to make our graduates stand out from the graduates of other universities that they may be hiring students from. And they mostly came back and said that students were missing a lot of soft skills, while a lot of students were coming out with a real hands-on training. So for example, our IT students were really strong in the hands-on parts of the IT job itself. Many students, not just at Herzing, but all universities, were missing some of the soft skills, like coming into the office and being polite with one another. Hey, good morning, how are you? And saying things like that. They were just kind of coming in and keeping their head down and getting to the job. And so we came up with this, Aditya, can you go back to that slide, please? We came up with this price model that we hold all staff, faculty, and students accountable to. And we did this to develop and enhance those skills in our students. And so all of our courses have this price model ingrained into them somewhere. So all of our students will learn and know this model as they go through their courses. And PRICE it's an acronym. It stands for professionalism, respect, integrity, caring, and engagement. And these are things that we will make sure our students are very confident and capable of prior to their graduation from Herzing University. So not only are they going to get the skills that they came here to learn within their degree program, but they're also going to get these extra soft skills that are going to help set them apart from other students that they may be competing with in the workforce. And I have this nice quote from Renee Herzing. Renee Herzing, again, as I mentioned, is our president. Her quote is, "Career-focused education has always been the foundation of Herzing University. Our student success in their chosen career is the priority of our faculty and staff. To this end, Herzing University strives to develop programs that will not only educate our students, but also equip them with the tools necessary to thrive in a very competitive and ever-changing job market." And at the end of the day, we know that that's what our students are coming to Herzing University for, is because they want to be more competitive in the job market. And that is the goal of Herzing University, is to allow students to achieve that. So many of you may be thinking, why Herzing? There's so many universities out there that we could be applying to. Why should I select Herzing University? And so I want to share with you some of the really relevant and valuable information about our university as a whole and the programs that we teach at Herzing University. So these are all, you see 5 different bullets on your screen here. These are all really important factors as to how we teach our programs and how our students learn at Herzing. So the first one is accelerated. And what that means is Herzing offers 3 semesters each academic year, which allows students to attend 3 full-time semesters year-round. This allows for possible bachelor's completion in 3 years, and many international students do take that option, although some choose the more traditional pathway where they're only studying for 2 semesters a year, and then that would take the traditional 4 years to finish a bachelor's degree. So to know that that option is there to finish your degree in 3 years, that's really exciting to some students. And again, we have many students that do that. The next bullet point you'll see there is guided. And this just shows you that we have pathways to advance your career. So for our international students, we have what are called dual credit options, where you can take dual credits in your bachelor's degree that not only count for credits towards your bachelor's degree, but also count for credits towards your master's degree. And this can save students time and save students money as they're going through the program. The average is to save a student about a semester, and a little over $10,000 US can be saved with taking the dual enrollment path for our undergraduate students. The third bullet point you'll see here is engaged, and what that means is practical, real-world approach to learning. And so we have a lot of not just lecture-based course, but hands-on training courses where not only is your teacher going to tell you how to do things, but they're going to teach you and show you how to do them. And many of our programs, particularly our IT programs, also have a lot of certifications that are ingrained in those programs that you can prepare yourself for these particular IT certifications and some business certifications that are out there as well as you're going through your program curriculum at Herzing University. Herzing also has small class sizes, with the average class size ratio being around 14 students to 1 teacher, which allows us to promote high levels of personalization and engagement. So your teacher will know you, they will know who you are. I'm sure Naeem and Kushi will be able to speak to this a bit later, but they know you and they know you by name. And when you're not in class, they call you and they're genuinely concerned to make sure that everything is all right. And that's not something that you would be able to get at most universities. The fourth bullet point there is value added, which says our faculty are industry leaders trained in cultural diversity, teaching in-demand knowledge and skills to support marketable and career-ready graduates, which again, that's what we're here for, is to be career-ready. And finally, supported, and we're going to get more into our support services in just a bit on the next slide, but we have a student-centered approach to a lot of robust resources and an accessible team of professionals to support our students, not just through graduation, but beyond that. And I'm going to share a lot more with that about that on the next slide. So our support services. So Herzing University has a really lengthy list of support services, and all of them are not listed here on this slide. These are just some of the top services that we have. The first one you see there is student services, which is a department that works with students to help them through any challenges that they have. So, you know, needing to get connected with the tutoring center, needing to get connected with housing options, needing to get connected with any other support services. The student services department is the first stop that will kind of refer you out to the other services that we have. The academic coaches that are available, they're subject matter experts that can do, like, they can come to the classroom and do any type of guest lectures, but then they can also support students outside of class and coach them through the next step in their life. So, you know, what are they going to do what can they be doing while they're in school? What kind of certifications can they be getting? You know, just trying to encourage the students to do as much as they can while they're here. Also, we have a tutoring and a writing center and a very robust online library that students can use. You can have access to it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In the US particularly, libraries are not something that you see very often now. Most everything is online, and that gives you access to it any time of day, not just during the school hours. Also, the very bottom there on the left side, you'll see the U Lifeline. It's a free, confidential online mental health resource center for students. It's just available for students if they're having trouble with anything. A lot of international students especially can face some challenges of some homesickness and, you know, trying to learn how to live on their own when they first come to the USA. And we definitely have support services to help with that. Our international services, which is actually the department that I am in, we work with students to be sure that they're aware of and following all the US immigration regulations and staying in status. Also assisting them through any other challenges that they face because of the visa that they are on, and making sure that at the end of the day, they don't violate any of the US immigration regulations and they can maintain their status. And our registrar's office, every university has a registrar's office, but it's basically where we keep all of our records. They help you with schedule changes, any challenges that you have related to your actual academics with the university. And then lastly, career development. Career development is their initial job, or their main job is to prepare you for finding a job after you graduate, but they will actually assist all of our international students while they are in school, because most international students want to take an internship, and international students that want to take an internship need to be prepared to search for that job and apply for that job and communicate with that future potential employer as it is customary in the United States. And so we want to teach you what those customary ways are in the United States so that you can stand out at the top of the list of the applicants for any position that you may apply for. Next, I want to show you a little bit about our Atlanta campus. I'm sure most of you have never visited Atlanta, Georgia before, but our campus is located right in downtown Atlanta. It's a very busy area, lots of businesses, students, really nice area of downtown. And this is the building of the campus here. The campus is really light and bright, got lots of updated labs and learning accommodations. We've got dedicated classrooms for lectures, dedicated IT and networking labs, a really nice common area, and then also a communal kitchen for students that are interested in, bringing lunch or anything like that to the campus. And then I think the next slide is going to have some pictures of the campus so that you can kind of get a look and see what the campus feels like, and it does. So all of these photos that you see here are different parts of the campus in Atlanta. And this picture is just to show you where Atlanta is on the map. So as I mentioned, I would suspect that most of you have not visited Atlanta before, but Atlanta is in the southeastern United States, in the state of Georgia. So just to kind of give you an idea of where it is geographically, it's the location of that star that you see there on the map. And then a little about Atlanta specifically. So the climate in Atlanta is really nice. It's quite mild for the United States. We do experience 4 seasons here. And I'll tell you, there's lots of places in the United States that don't have 4 full seasons. Some of the northern states specifically can endure snow throughout, 7 or 8 months of the year. But Atlanta, like right now, it's really nice outside today. We're kind of in the late spring, getting into the summer, where it will get quite warm, hot rather, we'll say, in the summer. And it does get cool in the winter, but we don't experience a lot of snow or ice or freezing or anything like that. While we will have a few cold days, it will be very short-lived because we'll get all 4 of our seasons here. Also, Atlanta is a culinary hotspot, so there are lots of restaurants in Atlanta, even restaurants just very similar to the ones that you may be familiar with eating there. Also, because Atlanta has such a rich culture, lots of different backgrounds and ethnicities, and people from different countries are living here in Atlanta. It allows for lots of different types of restaurants and also grocery stores that may have items just like you're familiar with purchasing at home. Which is really nice for our students. So we always try to teach them and show them where they may find those grocery stores, so that, or those little pockets and areas of town that may have more things that are familiar to their own culture, because Atlanta has so much of that. We're really lucky to have that. Also, Atlanta is the hometown of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who is a civil rights activist, which many of you may have heard of him. There's even a museum here in Atlanta that we take students on a field trip to occasionally. And then there are lots of other civil rights landmarks and lots of historical landmarks also throughout the Atlanta area. And then some of the attractions that you may find in Atlanta are, we are home to the largest aquarium in the United States. It's the 2nd largest aquarium in the entire world, and it's right down the street from the campus. We actually take students on a trip there as well. Once every semester, we take a group of students down to see that aquarium. And then we also have the World of Coca-Cola Museum here. So Coca-Cola was actually invented in Atlanta. And so we're lucky enough to have the museum where you can go and taste all the different Cokes from around the world. We also take students there. So lots of field trips, lots of fun, especially in the first semester. And then several professional sports teams here in Atlanta, and then lots of other attractions. Atlanta is definitely a tier 1 large city in the United States. And then up next, I have just a few testimonials from a few former Herzing University students on these next 2 slides that I want to share with you. So this is Israr Hakim. Israr is from Pakistan, and this was just a statement that he gave us. He has already graduated from Herzing University, but he said his MBA degree at Herzing is fast-paced and packed full of useful information. I learned that to make yourself more marketable in the corporate world, you should make sure your skills and expertise are in line with your field of study. And up next, we have a testimonial from Elvira. Elvira said, Herzing understands and supports non-traditional students who have to juggle jobs and family, and they make it easy with online classes and the way they schedule on-campus classes. When you're in the environment where they tell you that you're smart and that you can do it, it inspires you and makes you feel like you can do those things. And so she had a great experience here, kind of mixing her in-person and online classes together while still being able to maintain her F1 immigration status. And next we have our programs that we offer for international students. So the top 2 programs for international students are going to be our degrees in business management and in information technology. So in just a bit, we will hear from Kushi Patel, who is actually a current student in our Bachelor of Science in Information Technology program. So hopefully she'll be able to share a few tidbits about her experience here and that program. And also our Master of Business Administration program, where we have 4 different concentrations that you can select from. Technically 5, I guess, because you can also choose no concentration, but we have the MBA, just the general, then we have the MBA in project management, which is the one that Neill graduated from, who we'll hear from in just a bit. We have the technology management concentration, data analytics concentration, and lastly, a healthcare management concentration. And my last slide before we hear from the stars of today's show and who you really want to hear from, our former and current students, is a little about our requirements for admission. So all international students do have to submit an online application. It's just electronic, very basic, who are you, where are you from, what's your address, and then also giving us your education history and then uploading all of your other documents there to that application portal. There is a $50 application fee, which you will also find that link inside the portal. And to your application checklist there, you would upload your valid passport, your proof of language, which we take a multitude of tests for your proof of language. We can accept the IELTS, the TOEFL, the ITEP exam, also the Duolingo English test. Financial support documents are a requirement, so a financial statement along with an affidavit of support from whomever your sponsor is. Undergraduate students do have to take an admissions exam, and then all students have to provide us with their transcripts, mark sheets, and certificates from their previous education. So bachelor's degree students would be giving us their 10 and their +2 or their secondary and higher secondary studies, transcripts and certificates, and then master's degree applicants would need to submit to us their equivalent to a 4-year U.S. bachelor's degree, transcripts, mark sheets, degree certificates, including the failed ones. And I know that that was a lot of information, but all of you guys are in contact with a local in-country representative there that will be able to help you through all of those admissions requirements.
Thank you so much, Anissa, for shedding light on Herzing and all of its wonderful offerings. So on to speaking to some of the students now. So I think we were going to kick off with Kushi. So Kushi, I'm going to catch up with you on a couple of questions. Give me a second. I've lost my questions here. Here we go. So Kushi, if you could come off mute and first of all, tell us a little bit about when did you first discover about Herzing University? How did you come across it itself?
So one of my parents' friend who already did her graduation from Herzing University, she did her master's in business management. She used to talk about a lot about this university, about the professors and faculties. She got help with them. Dr. Gordon, she used to talk about Dr. Gordon also. And then she had her colleagues and friends who also graduated from the same university. And now they are at good and high position. It has like a lot of campuses, like 11 campuses throughout US, and it attracted me a lot. So I'm here now in the Herzing in Atlanta, going with my bachelor's program, and I'm happy to be here.
Oh, that's good to hear. And I think peer-to-peer recommendation is something that we know is just so important when choosing university. You know, getting advice from your friends and your peers is something that you really do trust. So, you know, sharing those insights across your social group is really helpful. What made you actually choose the course specifically? Like what features, benefits, or advantages first drew you to the program?
So now I'm enrolled in Bachelor's of Science in Information Technology program. I chose this course because, as we all know, the technology is going like on demand. It has a great demand. It's never stopped or never stopping. So, and also there are like in the technology, we got AI, that is artificial intelligence and machine learning, which are a great demand, and it's on its way to go like ahead on top.
So
And
you're kind of
also,
thinking about the next step and what you can actually get with your degree.
yeah, and also like the fact is that there are the predictions that AI will create 97 million new jobs by 2025. Isn't that interesting? And we got like many features and benefits of IT. Here are like I have few of them: computer, tweeter, and cheaper computer processing. Also, we got a cheaper data storage, the digitalization, and the benefits I would like to share, like most attracted me was the technology and that ever changing. You know, it's now going to be stopped. It will be on high demand always.
It sounds like you've got your finger on the pulse with the next, you know, the next big craze and kind of what you're looking to do with your career. So during your experience, what's the thing that you feel like you've benefited from most at Herzing?
So I would say that my journey was great and thrilling, you know, and because the one thing I would like to share is I got colleagues of age 40 to 50 years old, and I was the only 19 years old in that classroom. Like, you know, it was like so good to know because they are all experienced. They have a lot of experience than I do. So I got like a lot of learning from them. Also, it is encouraging for this generation, because if they can do it, why can't us? And I benefited a lot from technology program because it is I just knew the IT, like the full form. That's it.
That's good to hear. Sorry, you were cracking up a little bit there for me. Sorry, could you repeat that last sentence? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. So when I started my program, and I didn't knew what the actual IT is. I just knew the full form, that is information technology. That's it. And then I think now I feel skilled with and knowledge with the IT stuff like operating systems, networking, security, virtualizations, and cloud computing.
Fantastic. Sounds like a really all-consuming course. And how did the university faculty help you with the course?
They are so helpful. Like I would like to say two names. That's Dr. Cardenas and Dr. Liu, who helped me a lot throughout this beautiful journey. Because whenever I need assistance, like any students, they are always ready to help. Like whatever the time is, they don't care. They'll just reply within 12 to 24 hours. And it makes me like, yeah, it's really good, because if you have any like assignments and everything, they'll help you out. They are so supportive, helpful, like they are so cooperative.
I guess that kind of mirrors what Anissa was saying about the smaller class sizes as well, getting that kind of one-on-one tuition and obviously knowing them by the name. That's great.
The engagement is good because we have like the ratio is less, so we get like full attentions and everything during classes. They know us better and they help us every time.
That's fantastic. And how would you say the course has impacted you during your time there?
I'm sorry?
How do you feel like you've changed during studying your course at Herzing?
Yeah, I have changed a lot. Like, as I said, yeah, I have changed because I didn't, when I joined, I didn't know anything, nothing, like just the IT, that's it. But now I'm like full of skilled person. I feel like so good. encouraged excitement, you know. So if anyone will ask, I will be like, okay, I know that.
Oh, that's good to hear. And what would you say is your favourite thing about the university and its teaching?
Because of network.
What would you say is your favourite thing about the university and its teaching?
My favorite thing about Herzing University is the opportunity to help students reach their educational goals and make a difference in their lives, you know, and the teaching is incredibly rewarding. And I love being share my knowledge and experience to other students who pursue their further education and career goals.
Well, thank you for sharing with us, because you know, you're really kind of painting a picture of life and your experience at Herzing University. So how would you describe it? Because obviously it's a lot of universities. What would you say kind of stands Herzing apart?
So about Herzing, I would say like it is a private and non-profit institution for higher learning with a mission to provide quality, career-focused oriented education and training. Also, it has a lot of variety, like different courses and certifications, the diploma programs, and also the professional development programs, which designed to meet the need for the current employees. And as Anissa said before, Herzing University has been in the US report and also in the world report for the best bachelor's program for the online. And it's on the way to its 10th consecutive year.
That's impressive. What would you tell other international students who are considering Herzing University?
I would say that it is a great choice for higher learning because it offers over 50 degree and certification programs in a variety of fields, including business, technology, healthcare, and education. It also provides a flexible learning management for the international students, like they have online, on campus, and hybrid classes, so that they are flexible with their learnings. And the finally, I would say is it is a strong commitment for the diversity, which makes it a great educational choice for international students.
Thank you, that's great. And is there anything else that you think it would be useful to share with our audience today?
Yeah, I have one thing to share that is most important for like students is for the certifications. I'll suggest them to go with the certifications because the Herzing has launched a pilot program, which have a lot of certifications, and they provide us the test prep materials. Also, they pay for our first certifications. So if you get this chance, just grab it because certifications will make you stand out anywhere, like on social media or else and of your companies as well. So I would prefer, and I do have certifications. I have 3 certifications, and I'm going to take more.
Well, fantastic, very ambitious there. So finally for you, on the scale of 1 to 10, how likely would you recommend Herzing University?
I would recommend 10 out of 10 because I love being here. And it has a different environment, you know. It feels like home to me. It's my second home because I'm always on campus, always, from morning till evening.
That's
And
good to hear.
it has like benefits for the international students and always for the other students as well. Because I would highly recommend anyone who is looking for their education goals and like for the educations. And the last thing I would say is I'm possible at Herzing.
Oh, I like that you got the strap line in there. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Kushi. You really have painted a picture of your experience, and yeah, it sounds like you're having a lovely time. So on to you, Neill. Neill, you're a graduate of Herzing University, the MBA program, and as I said earlier, you're currently working in the US workforce on OPT. So on to you, Neill. When did you first discover about Herzing?
So I discovered first about Herzing in 2018. It was a time when I was looking for some opportunity for the higher education. Actually, it's an interesting thing. I come to know one of my friend. He is from Pakistan. We has a Facebook friend and see his profile. So he's studying at Atlanta, Georgia, Herzing University. So I just asked a question. Hey, can you please share something about the university? That's how I come to know about Herzing in December 2018 sometimes. So it's almost 5 years.
Wow, so a long time ago. And also interestingly to Kushi, it was through a friend that you were actually recommended, or you kind of came across the institution. Why did you choose your course? And what, again, kind of features, benefits, or what were the advantages that first drew you to the program?
Okay, so first of all, can you repeat your question? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Kind of what drove you to the course? What were the benefits or advantages that made you want to apply for that course?
Yes, so benefit and advantages are, I did my engineering in India, from back home India, and I was looking to something on a management side. So I have a knowledge of a technical skill, as Anissa started in the beginning, that employer is always looking for a soft skill as well. Which are what you have a core knowledge, that's important, but at the same time you need a soft skill as well. You need a good communication skill, you need a good management skill, you are a good team player, you are a good leader. If you need a whole package, then your life is very easy. So that part is missing on me. So I don't know how to manage the people. The majority issue I'm facing, I was a team leader, so I was lack of management skills. So that's say, hey, I need to do something in my life. I need to continue my education. So I need to do something. That's the way I get admitted in Herzing University, and I choose a project management because the thing is that I was working over there. The majority task I'm doing is a project-based working. So I need to do some work, then that work is go away and the new work comes. Every time I need to do my management skill needs to enhance. So I come to know how I can overcome this problem. So only thing I can do is I need to do a project management. Now, if once I do a project management, that overcome all my issues. That way I just choose the Herzing University's project management MBA program.
Sounds very solution driven there. You found a problem,
yes.
and that was your solution. So you mentioned, you said you've been there since 2018. So you've been
I
in
started
US
in 2019, actually, my education in a fall 2019. So I landed in the US in August 2019 sometimes.
So you've been in the US for 4 years now, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and tell me a bit about your experience with the university and the program.
My experience is a great experience. As Kusi mentioned many things, he never left me to say anything. So, but my experience is a really great experience. The faculties, all the faculties are very supportive. And I love Anissa. She supported me very well while in my admission process since the beginning. And still, if I need something, if I call her or email her, her response rate is awesome. So the one part I like about Herzing University, if you reach out to somebody, it's a faculty or anybody, they will reach back to you within a day without fail. Okay, it's over the weekend, then also we get an email, hey, what you're looking for. So that's something great for a student, especially for the international student, because you're traveling from your home country to totally different country, totally different culture. At that time you get this kind of a support. That's really amazing.
That's fantastic, and obviously something that's been echoed with Kushi and obviously Anissa as well. So during your experience, what is the thing that you feel like you've enjoyed or benefited the most?
So benefited the most is one is a culture diversity, because in my class there are a student from Nigeria, from India, from Pakistan, from Nepal, from the US students. So it's all, you meet a new people and new classmates, and they are coming from all different cultures. So we talk about different things. And one more thing is it's very, as Kusi mentioned in her conversation, it's a higher learning. So you always motivated to do something advancement in your career. So every conversation is about what the best we can do to improve our grades, or what we can do to improve our coursework, how we get to do more research. So that's kind of, it's really awesome for me.
That's great to hear, thank you. And how do you feel the university faculty have helped you during your course? You obviously mentioned Anissa specifically, but any specific other kind of course teachers who've
the
really
faculty
guided
members, yeah, that's all are very supportive. I can mention all the names. What I remember is one is Dr. Gordon. I think he's not with the Herzing University right now, but he was amazing. Then Dr. Williams, then Dr. Coleman, and Dr. Kai. So they all faculty members are just amazing. Okay, once you need something, you reach out to them and they will respond you. They will guide you. They will, if you have some questions about your class, after the class, you can reach out to them. They can give you a clarification. So in a faculty member, I get a great support all the time.
Oh, that's great to hear. And again, first name basis, which is really testament to those smaller class sizes. So what did you notice about yourself and how you changed, having studied and obviously completed and come out the other side? What changed in you during your time at Herzing?
I can say I get a 360-degree change. So I change in each and every aspect. So when I come from India, I was worked for 1.5 years. I had a work experience. Then I come to the US. So I learned more professionalism. And I learned more time management. I'm more punctual. So you can say in each and every aspect, I change everything. So it's a 360-degree turn in my life. And I really enjoy this after graduating. And after graduating, it's helped me a lot to implement that in my workplace. But that's the reason I'm blessed to having a very good position right now at the workplace. So I'm all grateful to Herzing University, all the faculty members, and all who supported my journey.
Well, you kind of led me on to my next question, which was obviously being a graduate of Herzing's MBA program, you're now working on OPT. Can you tell us a little bit about your transition onto that and your experience in the workforce?
Okay, so kind of a transition is very smooth for me because I had a little bit of professional experience in India, but over here it's totally different. So you need to start from the scratch. So it's for the couple of months, it was difficult, but blissfully, hopefully I get a very good employer that supports me a lot because he knows he's from India, from the different country. And OPT is a really good opportunity to work after your post completion of education. So you get an entire 1-year work authorization from the USCIS, that's a body of US government for the immigration purposes. And also you get an opportunity to do your CPD, that's end of the course. So once you're done with all the coursework in the last semester, you get 3 months, that's kind of a 1 semester CPD, plus you get a 1-year OPT. So basically you'll get almost a 15-month of work authorization in the United States after completion of your education.
Fantastic. And was it easy getting that role with your current employer?
For me, I'm blessed, so I get it very easily. It's I get, and I can say if international students, you making a connection is very good thing. While you are in a school, do one thing, you make a connection. You make a connection in your community. You make a connection with your friends. You start for looking for a search for different work opportunity around your area. So that's how you connected with the recruiter. And that's how you get the job, because I get my job through a connection.
Fantastic. Well, it's all about networking, it sounds like.
Yes,
so
networking is very important.
What would you tell an international student who's considering Herzing University now?
I say it's a very great option if you are looking to do some specific. If I did my MBA, so if you want to do MBA program, it's a very flexible program. It's a hybrid program, online plus on campus. And the coursework offer is quite good. So you can balance your social life plus your student life all together. And I can say if you're looking for some other university in Atlanta and Metro Atlanta or Southeast region, then Herzing is the best option.
That's what we like to hear. Thank you. Thank you for that. Is there anything else that you would like others to know about on the call today? Or do you feel like you've covered it all for us?
That's it. Thank you.
That's all great. Well, I think you painted a really great picture, as did Kushi. Final question for you: on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely would you be to recommend Herzing?
I can say 10 out of 10. If it's small school, then I can give you 11.
Oh, that's what we like to hear. Thank you, Neill. We're going to be getting an influx of students wanting to apply based on that lovely praise. So thank you. We've got real energy, and your energy is very inspiring. So thank you. So that is it from our Q&A. Thank you so much, Kushi and Naeem. I really appreciate that. Again, really giving us a good taste of life at Herzing. There's quite a few questions in the Q&A box. I'm conscious we've got a few minutes. We can whiz through them. As usual, I like to just filter through some of the questions the BDs that are on the ground will be able to answer those and go back to you guys on. So I'm going to start off. This is a really specific, long question. Do you have access to these questions, Anissa, as well?
Yeah, I've actually been answering them.
Oh, great.
Typing through. So I kind of went through. I answered a lot of questions about tuition. And so that should be there. But if you guys would just visit the Herzing University website, you'll find the tuition. It's very clear. It's very easy to find. Also, I've answered a lot of questions already about proof of language. And does Herzing University require a proof of language exam, or will we accept an MOI? And the answer to that question is Herzing does require a proof of language examination unless you're from a country that the official language of the country is English. So, for example, I've had a lot of questions from Nigerian students, for example, that have asked that. So English is the official language of Nigeria. So those students would be able to apply with just their previous education from Nigeria, because everything in Nigeria is done in English. However, students from like India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, if we have any, I know we have some students from those places online. Since English is not the official language of that country, we would require that you do have an English language examination, and we are willing to take the ITEP, the IELTS, the TOEFL, the Duolingo English test. And so, you know, if you'll get with your local in-country representative, they'll be able to share with you exactly what those requirements are. And I'm sorry, I didn't get to say thank you to Naeem and Kushi because I hopped right in. I did want to say thank you. I know that you guys may need to go. Naeem, you look like you're at work, so if you need to hop off. And Kushi, I know that you probably have to be on campus soon and have class today. So I did want to say thank you to them really quickly. I had no idea what they were going to say today. I did not ask for the answers to their questions. And so I really appreciate the support that you guys have given Herzing. You know, we appreciate you, and thank you again for coming on to take this call today. So feel free to hang out if you want, but if you need to go, we certainly understand. Also, so the next, in the question box, I've seen a lot of questions about the financial support and what is required. So the financial requirement is a financial statement and letter of support from the account holder if the account holder is not the student. So for example, if I was going to school and my aunt was going to sponsor me to go to school, I would need my aunt's financial statement, a recent financial statement within the last 60 days. And then also my aunt would need to write a letter indicating her intention to support and sponsor me while I was in school. And the minimum on that financial statement should be $31,000 US. We do recommend a higher amount than that because most of you are going to have to show that to the embassy as well whenever you apply for your visa. So if they can see that you have ample funds, because your I-20 is going to show that you need around $31,000 for one academic year. So if you have more funds than that available, it's definitely beneficial to go ahead and show those funds. I had a few questions about the test. So we do not require the GRE for graduate admissions. Also, I had a few questions about, oh, actually, let me go back to the test. The testing for the undergraduate. So we don't require the SAT or the ACT to be entered for the undergrad, but what we do require is our own in-house admissions exam, and it actually will come to you via email. And then you can take that admissions exam like right, you know, at home or wherever you have a strong internet connection. So it's not, you don't have to go out and register for the SAT or for the ACT. Another question I'm getting a lot of is about our MBA and whether it's STEM or not STEM. And at this time, our MBA program is not a STEM program. You will be able to have CPT at the end of your program, which is an internship. And you will also be eligible for 1 year of OPT after you graduate, which is what Naeem is actually on right now. He's working on OPT currently. So you will get CPT, you will get 12 months of OPT, but the course is not a STEM course. Now, the course that Kushi is in is a STEM course. So she is in our Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. So Kushi not only will get 1 year of OPT, but she can also apply for an additional 24 months of OPT after she finishes her 1 year. So for a total of 3 years, because Kushi is in an IT-based STEM program. Oh, a few questions about gaps. So Kushi, earlier you mentioned that we had some students in class that were around 40 or 50 years old, and that sparked some questions like, wow, they were so surprised. And so to be clear, most of our students are not that age, but Herzing doesn't limit the gaps that a student can take. And so where you may find an issue with the gap, if you've had a gap in your education, is going to be at the embassy. So if you can't support why you've not been in school for 10 years, they may not give you a visa. So that is something that you'll need to be prepared to answer when you go to the embassy if you've been out of school for a long period of time. And then whatever the reason is that you really feel the urge to, go back to school and retool, gain some additional, education so that you can do what? Like, you really need to be able to answer that question to them. The university will not hold you accountable to that gap. That's just not customary in the United States, frankly. Like, any university, if you meet the admissions requirements, regardless of your age, would be willing to accept the student. Questions about the intake. So we have 3 intakes a year. They are in May, September, and January. Right now, we are accepting students for the September intake. It's our largest intake of the year in the fall. I will say, if you're interested in the fall, you should definitely apply and get everything done right away. There are some backlogs in the embassies that are starting to clear. We're very hopeful. They're getting a lot better. A lot more students are getting into the embassies right now, but there has been a backlog for quite a while. But the earlier you get your application in and you get accepted and get your I-20, the better chance you have to actually get your visa in time for the intake. But if you miss fall, then we have January coming right around the corner. And another question about turnaround time for applications. We literally process everything you submit to us within 48 hours of it having been submitted. So, but if we don't have everything, we can process what we have, but obviously you won't get accepted unless we have everything. So the only thing that's an exception to that is the foreign credential evaluation, which actually I've seen a lot of questions about that too that I've been trying to answer. So we do not require you to do your own with like Wes or Spantran or Joseph Stilney and Associates. What we do is we collect your transcript and we will actually do it for you. So we have a lot more control over it. We can work directly with the foreign credential evaluator, and it just kind of helps the whole process go a little bit smoother. Now, we don't do that evaluation until your application is complete. So you will need to have everything in before we'll submit out for that evaluation. But yes, we do take care of that for you. So let's see. Did you see any other particular ones, Josie? Oh, scholarships.
There was a very comprehensive question at the start. I don't know if you ended up typing back to that one, but maybe that's one to follow up directly.
Yes, I will type an answer back to that one. It was very specific. So like Suleiman, you've shared a lot of information about your status. My first question to this would be if you got access to your transcript. Needing those transcripts is going to be a requirement. I'm not sure how we could overcome that. We have had some applicants apply from the Ukraine, but they did all have their actual transcripts. So I think we would need to start there. And then as far as further information, I would connect back with whomever you got the information about this webinar from. I'm not sure who you spoke to. I see you say that you're currently in Finland. But even if you found this on Facebook or excuse me, Instagram or wherever, if you were to go on and send a message back through that, somebody would be happy to connect you to someone that would be able to share all of the information. I will say our website is very robust. You can find lots of programmatic information there. So hopefully that will help you. And then I wanted to address the scholarship. So one thing about Herzing University is we're a private nonprofit university, and so we don't charge students out-of-state tuition. A lot of universities in the U.S. that are public university charge substantially higher tuition rates to international students, and Herzing University does not do that. And so because of that, we do not have extra scholarships for international students, but even without those scholarships, Herzing University's tuition is often less than the competitors that are out there in the other universities, because of the fact that they do charge that out-of-state tuition, or that they charge international student tuition differently from domestic student tuition, and Herzing doesn't do that. So anyone that attends Herzing University pays the exact same tuition amount, which again is most likely going to be less than the school that any other school that you're looking at in the US.
It's very competitive, especially for the MBA.
Yeah, our MBA program is like around 25,000
Oh.
US for the entire program. That excludes living expenses, obviously. But then our undergraduate programs are usually around 60,000 US dollars for the entire 4-year program. And that's like, you know, a lot.
I think.
Yeah, it's a lot less than what many of the other US universities are, especially because of the out-of-state tuition. So, Josie, did you see anything else?
Nothing else that springs to mind that you've not covered, or that is pretty basic stuff that can be answered by the BDs. What percentage of payment, did you cover that? What percentage of payment to be made before coming over for the studies?
I did it. So your first tuition payment would need to be paid in full before you come over to study. And so there's a few reasons for that. One is because it can be quite difficult for you to transfer money to the US once you've already got here. But for number two, it's important that you have that receipt with you when you come through to travel to the USA. You're often asked for it, and the immigration officers that are in customs when you arrive in the state will ask you for that receipt a lot of the times. And if you don't have it, it can cause a lot of trouble. So it's really important that you go ahead and take care of that in advance. Anyone who's awarded a visa will have a deadline to make that payment. It's within about 2 weeks of the approval of their visa. And then I also had a couple of questions about if you had to provide proof of language before an admissions decision is made. And absolutely, yes, you would have to provide proof of language, because that proof of language is an academic part of your application package. So you definitely need to provide that in advance. I think I said this already, but no GMAT or GRE score is required at Herzing University.
I think you covered the main bits there.
Yeah, I think so. And somebody asked about TAT. I've seen 2 questions about that now, and I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is, Josie? TAT?
No, unless any of the BDs. Could you please share the TAT for offers? Turnaround time. Turnaround time.
Oh, turnaround time. Yeah. So I think.
Yeah.
Whew, well, there were like 2 or 3.
They're getting too down with the acronyms here.
Yeah. So I think I mentioned that earlier. So we kind of do everything all together at the same time. I mean, if somebody literally submitted every single application document all at one time, an undergraduate student could be accepted and have an I-20 in less than a week. And a graduate student, it takes a little bit longer than that, because we have to submit out for that foreign credential evaluation. But again, that is assuming you've submitted everything at once. So if an applicant comes in and we have a passport and some proof of language, well, you know, we're still waiting on finances, we're still waiting on education, we're still waiting on maybe some enrollment documents and potentially your application fee. So if it's 5 more days before you take care of those things, well, you know, you kind of, you know, took up a lot more time. So we usually process everything within about 48 hours of when it comes in. This week, things are a little slower because classes started on Monday, but typically that is our usual turnaround time. I will say we're usually very fast, and so we're really proud of that.
And one thing I would say, guys, is, you know, it's all based on you guys giving us the documents in the correct format. You know, if we have to go back and forth asking for them to be re-uploaded, then that can delay things. We do have a checklist. So if you haven't got that, please reach out to your BD and they can share it with you, which is like a step-by-step guide, how to use the website, how to upload the right documents in the right format. Are you okay to finish those questions there, Anissa?
Yeah, I'm working on them.
Yeah, okay, cool. I've asked the marketing guys to get a record of all the questions and the members that have joined. So if we do need to follow up with people, we will. Conscious on time, so we're gonna draw a line there now. But if you guys, any attendees of this call, don't currently have a contract in place, obviously that's our first port of call, is to ensure we've got a contract with you so you can start representing Herzing University. So please reach out to your representative who can get the ball rolling on that front. But yeah, we're open for applications for September, so please get those in. The earlier the better. We know that lots of visa appointments will be opening up soon, especially across India. So, you know, we want you to be fully equipped to sweep on those appointments when they become available. So that's it for myself. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anissa.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you again, Takushi and Naeem. I really appreciate you guys coming on, and we look forward to seeing, you know, applications from you guys. If you're interested, we have, I actually, a lot of the names of these questions that are coming in, I recognize your names. I've seen your applications and your interviews and your application fees and whatnot come across my screen already. Also Mark Rogers isn't here today, but he does a lot of the application processing himself. And so I even recognize some of these as names that have been submitted for foreign credential evaluation, because he usually sends those through me. So really excited to see all your names here. It's really nice. And thanks again for joining.
Thank you, Anissa. Thank you, Naeem. Thank you, Kushi. Thank you to the marketing guys for organising this whole session. And we will look forward to receiving all your apps soon. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all.